what has been done to build culture around it. To the extent where, for many, it's not a tool anymore. It's actually to define. There is no digital gold in the Bitcoin white paper. The idea of Bitcoin as an asset that appreciates emerged from people who did not have the currency transferring problems that we have in our continent. Satoshi's dream for electronic, peer-to-peer electronic cash system is perfect for what we need in our continent. It's perfect for us. Not for us to get distracted by all the other stuff and leave what is actually most essential for us as a people and us as a continent. Bitcoin is not a religion. It's a tool. And if you leave this talk with anything, it's Bitcoin is a tool. However, my pastor says when the use of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. Once we don't know what the use of the tool is, then we start abusing it. This is a tool that can help Africans trade from one part of the continent to the other part of the continent without denominating their trade in the US dollars. It's not neutral currency. This is a tool that can help the average African save in currency that can be devalued by the government tomorrow. This is a tool that can help us make electricity cheaper in our continent. The truth is, we're not using as much electricity as we need to progress as a society. We're not using anything remotely close. Look at a map of the world at night from space, and you realize that our continent is still actually dark because we don't have the electricity we need to power the things we need for our people to have a good quality of life. And Bitcoin allows us to do that in a way that is efficient, that helps us provide good quality of life for our people, and they deserve it. In all the years of being infantilized, we've lost a lot as far as dignity is concerned. And we need to restore dignity back for the people on the continent. But to do that, what we need from this ecosystem is people who can build, not preachers. Not preachers. Don't open another Bitcoin church in your neighborhood or in your. We don't need that. We need people who can build tools that solve the problems that people have in every minute of their day that requires money, powered by Bitcoin. And we're the ones that can build it. We're the ones who understand the context within our continent, the context within which our people live, and the needs that they have to improve quality of life. We need to share this tool. We need to share our own perspective of this technology with the world using empirical data, which means we also need to do our own primary research. And we need to tell the story of what Bitcoin means from the lens of us as Africans. Yes, we all read the Bitcoin Standard when we were getting orange pilled. But that book was written about Austrian economics. We're in Nigeria, we're in Kenya, we're in Togo. Our reality is different. We need to tell our own story of this technology. What does Bitcoin mean from the point of view of an African? And we need to tell that story using empirical data. If we're going to get the rest of our society to adopt this technology, we will need to be able to engage with them with facts. Because the voices that they are listening to, that our opponents, the IMF, the World Bank, are coming to them with economic research and data. We will not win the other side with platitudes and with Bitcoin fixes it or have fun staying poor. That's not what's going to work. Here are 3 ideas of things I think we need in the immediate on the continent to help us get there, to help us move this conversation forward. I've talked about we need more builders. We need a Bitcoin Institute in Africa. that is supporting researchers, that's investing in researchers, and that is defining and helping us craft what are the pros and cons of using this technology in our continent, and how do we actually practically grow the spread of Bitcoin on the continent. An institute that's engaging with policymakers, that's speaking to them in their language, that's engaging with business communities, speaking to them in their language, and giving them facts on why this technology is critical for us. When the Storytellers Fund, most stories about Bitcoin in Africa, unfortunately at the moment, are being told by people who are not African. We need to tell our own story. It requires resources. We need to put resources behind people who can tell the story of Bitcoin from the African lens. But we also need an agency, a fund, someone that is engaging with the mainstream applications, the mainstream software applications that's powering and improving quality of life of Africans, and that's engaging with the leaders of those organizations and working with them to integrate Bitcoin into the experience. The average African needs an infinite number of ways to earn and spend Bitcoin. And that will happen on those applications where they currently earn and spend their fiat. And so we need to have a very intentional approach to getting those platforms to onboard Bitcoin in the experience. The work I do at the Human Rights Foundation is focused on supporting builders who help us get Bitcoin, who help us strengthen Bitcoin, but also get Bitcoin into the hands of people, particularly in repressed and authoritarian environments. And we do that through the Bitcoin Development Fund. Every quarter, we give about 10 Bitcoin or about $1 million to projects across the Bitcoin world. We want to give more support to builders from the global majority countries. Countries that need peer-to-peer electronic cash. We need those builders to be coming forward. Come forward with projects that are well thought through, that dial into what we need on the continent, and that help show the society and the environment what Bitcoin can do to improve quality of life. Bitcoin is a tool that we can use to restore Africa's dignity. It's a tool we can use to restore Africa's dignity. But we need to wield that tool with agency. That's the privilege we have of being in this room. Thank you very much.
Wow.